Good question. I'm gonna say 15 side today. They're pretty handy on the pitch, so we're expecting them to make a big splash tomorrow, and they're in a tough group. They'll meet Millfield, which I'm sure will be a tough game later on this Saturday afternoon. But yeah, they're really welcomed. They're strengthening what we've got going on, and it's another way how we can expand what we're doing.
It certainly is, and on the festival as a whole, obviously it's such an important part of the school here at St Joseph's College. I mean, I grew up round the corner, and it was all anyone could talk about when October came around, and I wasn't even really at school around here, but it was still just the talk of the town. It feels as though it's such an important part of, not just for the school but the local community. It's a real feature on the calendar, and something that this whole school really feels as though the year is built around almost.
Absolutely everybody at this school is involved in one way or another, from the grounds team to our event staff to every single subject teacher to all the students. You'll see tomorrow the tunnel will be longer than ever. It means a lot to everybody. It means a lot to everyone involved, and it's a way for us to showcase what a wonderful school we are and the community of the college. It gives us an opportunity to really have a platform amongst some of the biggest schools in the UK to show what we've got and show what we can do and raise awareness of what we're about. It means a lot to everybody. No more so than the team that we've got. They're a very excited group of players that can't wait for tomorrow.
To the rugby, Blundell's, Hampton, Trinity tomorrow. Big group. Looking forward to it?
Yeah, look, we faced Blundell's last year in the plate final. Tough game. I know Yappy prepares his team really well, and we're looking forward to 10:45 tomorrow morning. But every group's tough. There's no easy route through. We're looking forward to it. We feel we can kick on from last year. 17, 18 of the 25 players have played in the last couple of years for us, so we've got a relatively experienced group on top of those 5 young ones. So yeah, bring it on tomorrow. Looking forward to it.
Looking forward to it indeed. Roland, we might call you back out in a little bit, but we're going to have a chat with your skipper, Fergus Cherrington, if he is around. Fergus is part of the Northampton Saints setup, actually, captain of St Joseph's. And as I was just talking, come a little bit closer, Fergus. We were talking earlier. You've transitioned. This is your third year in the first 15. You've gone from back row to lock to front row. You're not supposed to do that for another 10 years.
Yeah. Everyone says I like eating my eggs, so yeah, decided that I prefer the scrum in the front row than the back row. So yeah, prefer it. I think loose head props, pretty good crack. Yeah.
And we've just been speaking to Roland. You've got a good group tomorrow. You've got Blundell's, Hampton, Trinity. Obviously, you played Blundell's last year in the festival. Hampton, a former champion. Trinity got to the final a few years back as well. Are you boys ready for the challenge?
100%. The boys are really excited. There's a good feeling about this year. I think we've been building 2 years, young squad. So yeah, really up for it, I think. Yeah.
And obviously, looking ahead to the tournament as a whole, you've got some serious sides in there, haven't you? You can't say yourselves, because we all know with that home crowd behind you, you guys are right up there with the favourites. Who's the side you're looking at from the outside and going, oh, they're the ones to beat?
I think it's got to be last year's champions, Kirkham, for myself. Obviously, St Michael's coming in for their first year, and you can't underestimate Millfield ever. So yeah.
And tell me a little bit. This is your third time here, obviously, as we've said. When you guys come out on field, it's a hell of an atmosphere. I'm told, actually, by the way, Mr. O'Riordan, wherever he is, he's brought in cannons or something. It's going to be spectacular when these guys get started tomorrow. But it's pretty special, isn't it? What's that feeling like when you run out here?
Running through the tunnel with all your friends watching, it's amazing. It gets you ready for war, basically. Yeah, I've done it 12 times now, 12 games, and you never get old. It's awesome. The tunnel, the chants, it's epic. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, listen, mate, we might bring you back out again in a little bit. We're going to chat to Kirkham now, because you did bring them up, the reigning champions, Kirkham Grammar School. We're going to see if we can find Johnny Rodham and Dan Bibby somewhere. I can see them lurking in the background. We're in here in this lovely VIP tent where all the old boys are being hosted this evening. And here comes Johnny now. Dan's come and sneak in. Come on and sneak in. Johnny, a big year this for Kirkham Grammar School. We're going to get into that in a bit, but what I want to get into at the start is, what's it like coming here as defending champions? How does that feel?
Well, firstly, we're really proud, but yeah, people are going on about defending the championship. It's a completely new team, and I keep saying this to the boys, I said there's no pressure really. Go and enjoy it, but it's quite nice to get the attention, I think.
It's always good to have the attention. Always good to have the attention. No, before we sort of look at this year, I do want to talk a little bit about last year, because it was pretty special, wasn't it? Ollie Davis with that dramatic late drop goal. It was a special side, but in many ways reflective of the work that's been going in at Kirkham for the last umpteen years. I mean, it's been a real shift. I mean, Dan, you've been in amongst it for a little while. You were part of a very good Kirkham side back in your time, but it must have felt like the culmination of something pretty special.
Yeah, I mean, for me, being there for not too long now, and being an old boy as well, I think it makes it a little bit more special, because I know what they've been through, I suppose. I've been there, I've done that, I've been through the school system, through the same school, so I know how much it means to them boys when they went out there and won it last year. I suppose it's the icing on the cake, isn't it, for me and Johnny, when you coach a team like that and then you get that sort of tangible thing to have the trophy. It makes it, I suppose, even more special. But without that, it'd still be really special anyway. Like, we still love what we do. We love how much the lads work for us, things like that. But I mean, to go out there and win it last year was a pretty special one.
Could add a bit to that as well. I mean, before we were running the first 15, Aled Tranale had run that first 15 for quite some time, and he brought the lads down here for the first time, and that was brilliant, because it gave the whole school that sort of understanding of what it was about, and the excitement right through from year 7 and onwards. The boys saw the first team coming down here. They were like, one day I want to go down there. So going back to what you said, it's been coming for a long time. Some of those boys, have been watching the first teams come down here for many years, and they were really keen to have their crack at it.
So it's almost like the 2003 England World Cup winners, isn't it? They don't want anyone else to do any better than them in case that means they lose their gig. It's obviously a great tournament, and a tournament with a lot of history. And history is something that is pretty important this year with Kirkham Grammar School. Am I right in thinking 100 years of rugby at the school? Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. So the school's been going for like 475 years, and before they played rugby, they played football, association football, and it's quite. I mean, I was talking to you earlier, wasn't I? I told you those messages. So there was an old boy at the school suggested that rugby might be the way forward for the school. But it is an interesting letter that goes to the headmaster, and he suggests that actually in the local area of the school there are more rugby clubs than football clubs. So in order for the pupils of Kirkham Grammar to continue with their sport, he thought it would be more beneficial for the boys to understand the game of rugby, so that they could progress and carry on playing this sport when they leave school. And that's how it started 100 years ago, and the headmaster totally agreed. And it was quite interesting what we're looking at the letter. So they actually brought in Preston Grasshoppers to play one of their fixtures at the school, so the pupils could see what this game of rugger was. And it's all written down, it's all documented, and it's quite an interesting story, really.
It's absolutely incredible. As you say, you sent me the stuff earlier. I was reading through it. It's this sort of, it's almost like it all happened by chance, in that someone just one day went, I think we should be, enough of this soccer stuff. I've seen these lads with an oval ball. We've got to get that out. Sounds absolutely brilliant. But obviously 100 years, you guys must have some big stuff planned this year. I mean, I know I've seen a few of the bits and bobs going on. You've given yourselves a schedule. Oh my word. I mean, Talk to me about that. You guys have had a game almost every other day.
Talk to the boss, man.
We've gone into the schools cup, and we get invitations to play some pretty big fixtures, and it's hard to turn them down. So we've got quite a big senior squad. So we try and manage. How can we create a squad that can play in that game, and then 2 days later we'll have a different squad that can play in this game, and we try and share the workload between the squad, and it gives them a challenge, but also it gets loads of boys playing rugby at a high level, and you don't develop as a rugby player unless you put into those situations. So yeah, it's tough, but we love it. And we're looking forward to half term.
Aren't we all?
Yeah. So, and what else have we got going on in the year?
You've got a massive game at the end of the year, actually, haven't you? Is it Woodhouse Grove you're playing towards the end? Yeah.
Yeah, I was really, really grateful for that. So I got in touch with Joe Bedford, a friend of mine at Woodhouse Grove, and I said, look, we're looking to have sort of like a finale, season finale. We're going to play it at Preston Grosvenors. It's a lovely ground, you know, lovely floodlit pitch. And I said, do you want to come along and be part of the celebration? He's like, yeah, we'd love to. I mean, we've got a good relationship with them. You know, we used to play them on a block, not so much in recent years, but we've got some good memories with Woodhouse Grove. We're really grateful for them coming over. Should be good. Should be a good occasion.
Certainly should. Focusing in on this week, Dan, obviously you've got a fair bit of experience in the shortened format in terms of time, but obviously here we've got the 15 players. Thinking about the time factor in the game, it was something that I think you guys did brilliantly last year in terms of actually just managing a game. What is it like? Is it just get on the scoreboard early and get out, or is there a little bit more to it than that?
Well, I can't give away too many tactics, can I? Yeah, we were chatting earlier about how some games you actually win by 50 points, you go down by 5 points right at the start. But in this, you just don't have enough time to make that up. So you can go down by 5-10 points, and actually, because the halves are so short, you don't have that time to sort of make it back up again. And you can easily lose a game because of that. I mean, I think every team knows that you can't play much rugby in your own half. You have to play all your rugby in their half. But that's normal 15s, isn't it? I think... speaking personally on my background from the sevens format, it's kind of a little bit like this, where it's like game on, rest, back on, rest, back on. And I've kind of tried to impart a little bit of knowledge, what I've learned from years of preparation and stuff on the boys, and it's a lot of trust. We spoke about a few values before we came here, and the trust really came out from everyone. And they have to almost trust me that if I'm saying do this, it's because I'm doing it for a reason. It's not because I'm just throwing it out in the air. So yeah, that trust element between me and Johnny, between us and between the lads as well. Like sometimes he looks at me a little bit like, "Are you sure about that?" And I'm like, "No, just trust me on it. Just trust me on it." So yeah, there's a little bit of that, just a little bit of, I suppose, wisdom from my end from that. But yeah, I always describe Johnny as the reason why I can do that, by the way, is because I always describe Johnny as Rain Man. So he's the one behind the scenes doing all the different things. That, oh, wait, if we win by this much, this happens, and he's picking all the teams. I kind of turn up and just like a little bit of energy and let's go for it, lads. So I can do that, but only because of this man right here.
Not many former professional front rowers that are getting described as Rain Man, are there? Unbelievable. Listen, lads, looking ahead to the group tomorrow, I can see one of your opponents over there. You've got a tasty group. Strath Allen come down from Scotland, Hurstpierpoint back in the competition after a couple of years out, and Wellington College, who were in your group last year actually, always 2019 champions, always turn up as one of the favourites. How are you feeling about that group? It's a biggie.
Yeah, we've tried to get a bit of information. Obviously, Wellington on a couple of games that have been live streamed, so that's been quite useful. But then again, we've played live streams, so we know we've sort of exposed ourselves as well. We've put a plan together with the sort of players we've got, see how we can put ourselves into a position to try and win a game, and see where we end up after day one. You know, target one will be trying to get in that sort of cup knockout game in the next morning, and then take it from there. But we just really don't know where this group can get to. They've got the potential to be absolutely outstanding, but we're just not clicked yet. So let's hope it happens tomorrow morning.
Hey, as long as you get through, the secret in this tournament is get through day one with enough fit bodies, I always say. Listen, gents, thanks so much for joining us. We may get you up again in a little bit, but we're going to bring in Strath Allen and Andrew Douglas and Adam Williamson. So thank you very much, gents. Best of luck tomorrow. That's Kirkham Grammar School. Their opponents tomorrow, Strath Allen. We're going to speak to you first, Adam.
Yeah.
Were you down in part of the team last year?
Yeah, I was fortunate enough to be down there last year, yeah.
So year two, you know what to expect.
Yeah.
You've had some pretty cool experiences, which we're going to get into, because I am basically more jealous of you than I am of any schoolboy rugby player ever. But you've got that feeling, you know what to expect. Is there a sense of calm among the boys after that?
Yeah, well, we've got a young group this year, so again, it's like they don't know what they're going to expect, but the older boys certainly are going to enjoy this year. So
it should be good, and it's been a pretty competitive season so far as well. You've had some good results. You've played some seriously good teams. We got a little bit of a taste of with up at Berkhamsted last weekend of the quality of some of the sides that you faced. Do you feel that that's probably got you well prepared for what's about to come?
Yeah, definitely. Well, I mean, Merkiston and George Watson's, they've been our 2 toughest games this season. But, I mean, if we put it together right this weekend, I think we could do a serious job.
We certainly can. Now, I'm sure that you get bored of this all the time, but how was playing for the Barbarians? I'm so jealous.
I mean, it was a real, unreal experience. Just because obviously my uncle played for them way back when, but just to do that's something I'd never expect I would be able to do, especially at such a young age.
It was such a cool event. For those of you that don't know, you can actually go onto the NextGen15 YouTube channel. It was the Barbarians against Rugby School December last year. It was absolutely awesome. It was the first time, and in fact only time to date, that the Barbarians have assembled an under-18 team. It was something else. It was one of the coolest things. I can't believe you got to do that. It's just so jealous. One thing I do remember from that was it was a big red scrum cap. Is that right?
No, navy blue.
Navy blue. Fair enough. Got it back for this year?
No, I've changed to a white one this year.
All right, stand out for the cameras, right?
Yeah, of course.
Absolutely right. I'm very excited for you. I'm very excited for you as well, Andrew. You got a big task ahead of you tomorrow. 2 former champions in the group. Looking forward to it.
Very much so. I mean, the big piece for us coming down here is to challenge the boys, to give them a new challenge with players they don't know. The big thing within Scottish rugby, we know the teams we play quite intimately. We play each other quite a lot. The boys play all the way through, so coming down here for us, a great challenge, because we get to see and play against teams that we don't really know an awful lot about, other than kind of the history of teams winning here before, and what we kind of see on Next Gen. So it's a good challenge for our boys. It's going to be really tough, and hopefully the boys can step up to the plate tomorrow. We're really looking forward to it.
And I know it's a big part of the ethos at Strath Allen, has been for a long time now, to test the boys, to gain new experiences, and also to take part in what I would describe as rugby culture, coming to events like this, perching by the bar and having a natter with whoever. The bits of rugby that we all sort of reminisce about and enjoy, feels like that's a really important part of the Strath Allen ethos.
100%. I mean, we try to expose the boys to all facets of rugby, and touring is a huge part of rugby, and we're very fortunate to get invited down here. We obviously have a trip to South Africa just before Christmas as well, which has been a real driver for motivating the boys to do the best they can this year. So these old rugby values, we try to bring them to life at Strath Allen. We try to instill them into the boys to continue rugby after school, and just giving them these experiences is fantastic, and we really appreciate having the opportunity to come and play.
Yeah, look out, by the way, if Strath Allen and Denstone College meet at any point this weekend, that is a potential Next Gen 15 Global Schools Challenge bash that you've got to keep a keen eye on. Looking at the what's to come in the season, obviously, is there a feeling that you've got a really good core building there? For looking at it from the outside, it does look as though you're building something pretty handy.
Yeah, I do feel like this year we've got a serious shot at doing something special with this team. Like the cup run, we've got Stuart's Melville in the quarterfinals probably, and then we're going to South Africa in December. That'll be immense. So
imagine turning up there as Scottish Cup champs. That could be on the agenda. Or hey, St Joseph's champs. It's all available. Are we going to see you on the wing again, or have you moved in field?
I've moved to outside centre now. Yeah.
Oh, here we go. You're getting older, and the pace is starting to go. Is it? Listen, thanks so much for joining us. We're going to try and get everyone up for another little chat. But if I don't see you before, have an amazing day tomorrow. Show everyone what Scottish rugby is all about, because Scottish rugby has got some serious stuff going on.
Thank you very much.
Cheers, gents. Strath Allen there and Kirkham Grammar School, both in the same pool. Pool 1 is going to be pretty spectacular, but lighting things up in Pool 2 from Ireland, St Michael's College. I'm going to grab their two absolute champions. Andy Ski, the media darling this week. We're going to get into him about that, and their skipper, Dylan Maguire, who is an absolutely superb player. These two are a bit tall for me, aren't they? It's terrible. Andy, first of all, how's this compared to the rugby pod?
Oh, you got such a good looking interviewer. I think it's a little bit better. So, yeah, I mean, Big Jim and Andy, got nothing on you, mate.
Oh, you're a flatterer. I want you to win now. More seriously, Irish schools coming over to England, we don't see that much of it. Is that a key driver for you being here, to test yourself against sides that you don't ordinarily get to play?
Yeah, I think in the last few years, the easier it is, and we got invited to this festival, and probably putting this into the work for the last 2 or 3 seasons to make sure we could make it over. And yeah, I mean, we always like to challenge ourselves against teams that we wouldn't usually play. So obviously all the teams that are here, I think in our whole group, the 3 teams we're playing tomorrow, we've never played at any level before. So new experience for the boys, new experience for the school, and it's something that it's important to us and something that we hope to do more of into the future.
And I mean, I guess that's a big part of it for you. I mean, how excited are you to face? I mean, probably the name that jumps out of the group just because of how well known they are is Millfield. What's the feeling going into that? I mean, 8-time champs and umpteen pros. What are you feeling heading into that one?
Yeah, no, the lads are looking forward to all the games. We're kind of going into tomorrow. Obviously, you got to win the first game first off, so we're kind of taking it game by game. Not going to get ahead of ourselves. Start thinking about the Millfield game too early. Obviously, they're a great side, and we can't wait to play them. Great opposition, big challenge for the lads. But yeah, we're taking it game by game.
And we were talking earlier about the season to date. It's actually pretty young for you guys. Only really 2 games so far, and you've been sort of easing boys into it. Does this feel almost like the start of the season proper for you?
Yeah, look, our season kind of a bit of a staggered start. A few lads getting a rest when we come back in. Obviously, this is the first main tournament we've had this season. The Cup comes up in January. But yeah, this is a big challenge for us, so we can't wait to get involved.
It's certainly going to be a big challenge, but you're going to be a big challenge for everyone else as well. I think that much is what's making everyone so excited. Partly because one of the big things, I don't know how much it travels across the Irish Sea. One of the biggest talking points in UK schools rugby is just how strong Irish schools rugby is, and the way that it seems to have developed, particularly in probably the last 5, 6, 7 years, to sort of seamlessly from the outside look as though we go from schools to Leinster to Ireland. Is it as smooth as it looks on the outside? As it presumably it's taken a huge amount of work to get to that point.
Yeah, I mean, there's obviously unique challenges, and I could list 100 of them here, but I mean, we've got a lot of things in our favour. So centralised system, players when they're in a province, it's that province they're trying to play for. So I think maybe here you might have 2 or 3 clubs looking at a player. Generally, if it's you're in Munster, you're with Munster. If you're with Leinster, Ulster, Connacht, and so on. So that makes it a little bit easier. Travel is a big one. Proximity of teams to each other. Most of our best games are within half an hour drive, and you can hit them up every Saturday, every Wednesday without too much hassle. So I think there are 2 important factors. Obviously our tournament is our kind of playoffs, which is in January, February, March, is on live television. So there's a lot of focus on it, and then the players are playing against each other pretty much from the age of 12 or 13 on a continuous rotation, and they know each other really well, so that brings a lot of competitiveness to it as well.
And actually, I'm going to repeat. I listened to your interview avidly. I'm going to repeat a question that you got on the Rugby Pod actually, which is that the strength of this. In fact, you know what? I've forgotten it completely, so it's fine. Doesn't matter. The strength of Irish schools rugby is obviously been well documented. But what I want to talk to you about actually in particular is how it is when you're playing with Leinster, and you've obviously been playing against Saracens in the summer, I think it was. What are those games like when it's academy versus academy at that level? Do you feel like, because of how tight-knit the system is, where the schools are all pretty well located together, that you have a more cohesive approach, or does it just feel like another game?
Yeah, I think that probably does help. All the lads kind of being close together. It's a very different experience in the schools. Obviously, less time trained together. Probably slightly less cohesive, but they're always very physical games against the academies and stuff. Especially the English lads always bring a lot of physicality to those games.
So the big question: can you win it?
Well, we'll get a good handle on that, whether we are in the mix or not. Look, we just want to be in the mix, be competitive in every single game. Obviously, there's so many unknowns in a tournament like this. There's lots of really good teams. We're obviously aiming to win every game, but as Dune said, it's one game at a time. So we've a game tomorrow morning, that's our focus, and then we'll shift our focus into each subsequent game. I think we've got a shot, but we'll know a lot more by sundown tomorrow.
And obviously, last Irish team to win here, Blackrock College in 2000. Be nice to get one on the old enemy, wouldn't it?
Look, Blackrock are always a good side, always a team to beat in Leinster. A lot of good players, well trained side. But yeah, it'd be great to get the win here.
Fantastic. Listen, gents, thanks so much for joining me. I'm going to bring in one of your opponents, Berkhamsted, and Richard Pryor. Richard, good to see you. Last time we spoke, you'd just drawn against the champions, reigning champions here against St Joseph's. How are you feeling about the tournament? How that sets you up for this?
Well, I don't know if it sets us up for it, but certainly it gives us an idea of what we can expect in terms of quality of opposition. But you know, it was great to play them the other week, and you know, it certainly was a very physical, high-paced game. So I'm expecting the exact same this weekend against the teams we're going to play.
Yeah, it should be a really good one. I mean, obviously you've got a brutal group, but the one thing with a brutal group is that everyone takes something out of each other, isn't it? And it leaves the door open for all four teams.
Yeah, well, I think, you know, it was nice of the organisers to get us a nice easy start in the competition, but you know, it's going to be a fantastic opportunity for our boys. And as you say, you know, each of those teams on their day at the right moment, particularly in such short games, could potentially beat one another. Therefore, it could be a real humdinger of a group, and that's what we've got to aim for. You know, for us, we've got Millfield at 9:45 tomorrow morning, and I said to the boys, we just got to throw everything at them and see what happens. And you know, that's the great thing about coming here.
And you've got a bit of a secret weapon in your team. He's not going to be so secret after I tell everyone this, but you've got a kid at fullback, Mason, who can kick the leather off the thing. And if there's one thing I know about this tournament, is that if you get the ball in the right part of the field, you'll do all right. Is that going to be part of the tactic? Get the ball down the end and see what happens.
Well, I think certainly in terms of the weather, it's not meant to be like it was today, sadly. So I think, you know, that's going to mean to maybe a more territorial game. And I think we're fortunate that, you know, Alex obviously can kick the ball a long way, but we have other boys as well who can kick it. So, you know, certainly I think you'd be daft not to try and use the territorial game, particularly in conditions like that. And I think, you know, realistically, if you can squeeze the opposition, as I said, in short games, you get a few points ahead, you get a penalty, 2 penalties, etc., then suddenly the game could be over. So, yeah, 100%, you know, kind of, it's not exactly to give something away. I think everyone's going to be pretty similar, and whoever manages the backfield better could well come out on top in these games.
Yeah, hiding from that weather tomorrow is going to be a bit of a problem, isn't it? You've had your under-15s playing today as well, and they're going to be involved again tomorrow. Really, really great experience for those young lads to get out here and actually to get to play in the sunshine as well. But fantastic experience for them. Yeah,
it has been. You know, I think, you know, realistically for us, I think it gives us an excellent idea of exactly where we are, what we need to improve upon. You know, I think physically we were underpowered against all three teams, and I think the kind of the core technical skills weren't quite at the level that we need them to be at. So for us, you know, it's disappointing for the boys to have lost those games, but for us as coaches trying to build the program, it gives us exactly an idea of where we stand amongst other schools. You know, and let's be frank, you know, they're not exactly bad schools either we played. So it was great to play Ipswich we don't normally, and of course St Michael's we don't normally. You know, NSB we do play pretty regularly, so we have an idea what they're like. But to see the different styles of rugby was, you know, really interesting for us. And as I say, we've learnt a great deal from it.
Should be a great day for the 15s finishing off, and should be an awesome day for the under 18s and what's going to be a really cool group. Richard, thank you so much for joining us. I'm going to wrap up in the next minute, but I'm going to get old hop-along Wilf Kemsley to just come in and give us his final thoughts, because he is, after all, a St Joseph's College old boy and Next Gen 15's superstar commentator. Wilf, we've only got a little bit of time, but just tell me what this festival means to you personally, but also to this place.
I think that anyone who spent any time at the college understands what the festival is as not just a weekend, but as a sort of rugby playing institution. In the months at the start of the season, we run all the way up to the festi, the assembly beforehand that has, you know, brought tears to the eyes of players and supporters. The weekend itself, which is the most bodies on campus throughout the entire year, and you know, everything that comes with it afterwards, and all the memories that you make. I mean, in the VIP tent here, there's loads of Old Berkhamsted, of course, but over in the beer tent around the corner as well, there's plenty of young men and women who have got stories to tell about the festies they've been a part of. And I think that's what really sets this tournament apart, is the connection and the camaraderie that comes with being a part of St Joe's and all of the other teams that have represented themselves at the festival as well.
Final question. Who's winning? Don't say St Joe's. You don't get to do that as an old boy.
Well, if I can't say St Joe's, then I'm leaning on anyone from Group 2, which is possibly the most difficult group in the 38 years of the festival. I mean, it's a ridiculous group. Berkhamsted, Millfield, and the new boys as well from Ireland. I mean, there's going to be some unbelievable fixtures. Even on day one, towards the end of the day, we have Millfield against St Michael's, followed by the decider, St Joseph's College Hampton, in that group as well. So that's a class way to end the day. And I think if it's going to be someone from Group 2, if it can't be the home side.
For my money, this is the most open St Joseph's Festival in at least a decade, possibly ever. It is going to be absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Thanks to all the Old Berkhamsted who are here in the room. Thanks to all of our brilliant guests from St Michael's, from Kirkham Grammar School, from Berkhamsted, from Strath Allen, and here from St Joseph's College as well. It has been an absolute pleasure to talk to all of them. We're going to see them out on the field tomorrow. It all begins tomorrow morning, live, 9 a.m. We are going to be live to build up to what is going to be a fantastic day of action at the 38th Annual National Schools Rugby Festival here at St Joseph's College. Can't wait to do it. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning.